Okay. If your tomorrow looks like today, you are doing it wrong. Why am I saying that? It's because tomorrow hasn't looked like today since the early days of the Industrial Revolution. The world is moving so fast that if you're not on board, if you're not at the forefront, you're doomed to be left behind. You're going to become a relic in history. So let me ask you this. Do you want to be the ones that drive innovation, that shape the future? Or do you want to be the ones that are forgotten, the ones that are left behind? I think that the future, I think tomorrow is actually here today. And I will prove it to you. Over the next 45 minutes, I'll talk about how today is what tomorrow should look like. And hopefully, leaving this room, you'll have enough information, you'll have enough things to think about, and decide whether you want to be the ones that drive the innovation and how that innovation will look like. So I'll prove it to you, right? I said the future is here today. We don't have to go far. You all know the Tesla cars, right? Anybody driving a Tesla? I wish I had one. Anyone? No? Yeah, it's too expensive for me as well, so I'll tell you that. Now, Tesla was, the first Tesla car, the Roadster, was released in 2007. It was the first electric productionized car. That was a supercar as well. But it wasn't new. I mean, it still has a steering wheel. It still has 4 wheels. It has the same tires. It has a chassis. In fact, it used the same Lotus chassis that the Lotus cars were driving on. And they didn't innovate anything. They didn't invent anything. What they did is they used a 10-year-old technology to create their cars. Right? That was the whole thing. They used a 10-year-old car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of history down, trip down the history lane, just to see how these big changes that have happened over the course of 10 years have shaped our future where we are today, and then how we can use that information to also understand what's going to happen tomorrow and where you're going to be sitting on shaping that future. So during my lifetime, I've probably seen 3 major transformations, 3 major changes that happened in the world, and they have definitely changed the way that we do things today. So I'm talking about IBM. So back in the 80s, you don't really need to look at the slides, I don't really have lots of content, so let's go with that. Back in the 80s, IBM ruled the world. It was the de facto, that was where you would go to buy your PCs. And not only that, if you were to buy a computer from IBM, you probably got a promotion. It was the sure thing. That's what people wanted to do. And IBM was the king, everyone bought IBM, and they became complacent. Innovation slowed down, and that was the problem. And you know that there's a problem for any company when you start having developer pain. Now, so most of us here are developers, and developer pain is what we really don't want in our lives. Why was it pain? Because you only had a dumb terminal that you would type stuff and then send it to the mainframe, type stuff, send it to the mainframe. You had to buy time. You had to have the mainframe to work with, and it was bad. It was a bad experience for everyone. So what happened next? What happened next? What happened in the 90s? The date doesn't really matter, the year doesn't really matter, but there you have it. A 10-year-old technology that IBM helped develop, the personal computer, came into play. And they brought the features that took the developer pain away. What did they do? They took that little bit of mainframe that you wanted to run stuff and put it under your desk. In fact, it was Microsoft's mission to put a desktop PC on every home and every desk that made things happen. Why? Because you couldn't put a mainframe on a medium-sized company. Even if they had the money, they didn't have the capacity to host a mainframe. Small companies, no way, right? This is out of the equation, mainframe doesn't work. What happened suddenly? The PC era came, and then every developer could create software, every developer could write stuff, and Developer pain went away. And then what happens? What happens when you become king of the world? You become complacent again. Innovation slows down. You don't have to go far, you just have to look into Word. Like, what was the difference between Word 95 and 98? You still type the same stuff. Okay, we took the vertical menus and we made them ribbons, and that was innovation, man. We're driving stuff around. No, it wasn't. It was the same. And developers started feeling the pain again. Like, how do I know what my customers are doing with my software? I mean, you would go to a shop and buy a couple of floppy disks, or maybe one big disk, and run it on your machine, and that was the innovation, right? But it had no visibility. Even Microsoft had no visibility how people were using their operating systems. And that's where developer pain is. So what happened next? That was the exciting years of the web. Like, right? When I write my application, all I have to do now is stick it in a pub or www root, and boom, everyone gets it. Like, hundreds of thousands, millions of people can get my application. And developer said to Google, you can do that for me? I can deploy my application and instantly everyone gets it. And it was awesome. It created new scenarios. Why am I saying that? Because can you imagine a world where Facebook was written and distributed in floppy disks? Can you imagine Amazon running off your desktop machine? Obviously, no, that's not going to happen. So Google brought all this innovation around. And they were kings. The search was all over the place, and it was fantastic, and everyone was having an awesome time, and then e-commerce flourished, and suddenly innovation slowed down again. It was a problem. Now, Google was convinced that Microsoft was going to be the next innovator. Remember, all these technologies have been there for 10 years, right? The PC was there for 10 years before it came out and became a mainstream thing. The web was around before the 2000s. It was out since 1990, early 90s, right? So 1988. So it was 10 years old before Google actually thought the idea of making a search engine. So what happened with Google? They were like, oh man, Microsoft is going to beat us to the bit on that. But I had no idea what the next thing was going to be. And you know that innovation is slowing down, and you have problems, and you have developer friction now. Developers are writing their applications, but nobody can find them. Like, I write my application, and it's lost in millions of pages. It's probably somewhere in page 2005 in Google rank. And because I'm not paying enough money, it's never going to be in the first page, right? It's all about the money. It's all about ads. 97% of Google's income was coming from ads. And they're still in the 90s, by the way, right? So they're still an advertising company. Don't forget that. But, you know, as a developer, my pain is, how am I going to make my money? As a company, how are you going to make your money if people can't find you? So what happened next? 2007. Somebody said it? Mobile came over. It was the clever idea of Apple to come knocking down all the walls. It was a clever idea that Steve Jobs took over. Does anyone know why Apple and not BlackBerry and not Palm Pilots and why not Windows CE that were out there for 10 years? They didn't get it. Do you know why? Anyone? Yes. Give the man a t-shirt or an umbrella. Yes, it was exactly that. For the developer pain that we talked earlier on, right? You couldn't get your application in front of developers, even if in front of people, even if you wanted to. Because to find your application, people had to go www.findmydamnapp.com. Like, there was no way to find it. And even if you found an application you wanted to use, every installation process was different. Somebody had CAB files. I don't know if you ever experienced that awful, goddamn awful experience. I don't know who thought about it. That's why BlackBerries and that's why Windows CE never made it. Because Steve Jobs said, not only am I going to allow you to write on my platform, but I'm going to make you money. People are going to be able to find your application and it's going to be awesome. So developer said, you can do that for me? You can take all the pain away? Damn, I'm going to jump on board, and damn, I'm going to make you the richest company in the world right now. And they still are. However, do you see the pattern here? 2007, 2018, right? We got developer pain again, do we? Right, I was with my wife at the cinema. We don't do that frequently because we have young kids and it's not easy. And I love apocalyptic disaster stuff like zombies, because zombies are real, right? It's not like the crappy stuff they get with vampires. That's all imaginary. Zombies are going to happen. It's just a matter of time that somebody releases a weird virus out there, and I don't want to kill you all. So watch the movies so you know how to defend yourselves. But, we're at the cinema, and like, you know what? There's a zombie movie with Brad Pitt. Can that be even better? My wife loves Brad Pitt. I love zombies. The perfect combination. So, she even suggested to go and see that movie. Like, yes. So we're at the movies, and we're sitting down, and, we're watching the movie, and I'm like, oh, man, I know at some point Brad Pitt's going to take his T-shirt off, and I'm really... And then my wife just goes, checks out your phone, checks your phone again. She goes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then jumps out. Like, she shoots. I'm like, what? That's zombies. It's like Brad Pitt is going to be on stage. So 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, she comes back. So I'm sitting there waiting and waiting for her to ask, what happened, right? That's the logical question. What happened while I was away? So there's nothing. So I'm being proactive and saying, honey, you didn't lose anything. Nothing happened. She goes, I know. How the hell does she know? She's got the app. Rampi. Somebody has created an application that tells you what's the best time to go for pee while you're in the movies. They've sat through the whole movie. And they sat again and again. And they worked it out. They go like, okay, between minute 57 and minute 60, nothing really is going to happen. That's insane, right? Now, how many of you go to the cinema here? How many of you go to the cinema? Right, quite a few. How many of you have the app? No one, right? Do you see that? If I was the guy that wrote the application, I would be so seriously pissed off. Like, nobody's buying my application. Why? Why? No. It's like, that's insane, right? So that's pain. That's developer pain. So let's imagine a world. Let's imagine a world where the future is now. Like, we're in 2018. We got a developer pain. We need to know what the next thing is. So imagine a world where I take my phone out. What's the world, right? So my phone knows. I mean, I carry this thing with me. My wife says that's my third limb. She's more upset about me carrying my phone than carrying her because it's with me all the time. Probably more hours than I spend with her. And when I go to the toilet, when I go to the cinema, when I go to the car, when I move around, it knows. Geolocation knows where I am. So imagine if I were to go, Cortana, I need to go to the toilet. And Cortana was, I know. The last time that you were in the toilet was 2.5 hours ago. I geolocated you. And then I know you went for lunch because you paid with your NFC. So technically, you must have had something to drink. Plus, your mean average time to bowel, removal is every 2.5 hours. So, I told you to go. In fact, you didn't have to ask me. I can actually vibrate on your phone and tell you to go while I am getting the data from the Rampi app. Right? Imagine a future where the data is all connected. Imagine a future where the Rampi runs on the cloud. Right? Could be today, right? Could be Azure. And Cortana runs on Azure. So how about we get these guys together, and rather than using applications to do all these things, we connect the dots. We take the middleman out. And while I run to the toilet to do my necessary stuff, then come back, what happens is a micropayment. The guy from Rampi goes, oh, you use the toilet at the cinema, and we sell the stuff to the cinema, and I'm a subscriber, so boom, there you go, that's my micropayment. So all of you would be customers without even you knowing about it. And we have the technology today. We're almost. Now, things have changed quite a bit, right? We are in the age of the device and cloud. The intent is known to those machines. But things have changed. The web used to be a destination. We used to go to the web to search for stuff. We don't anymore. In fact, Google was the first one that recognized that in 2007, unless they changed their story, they were gone. They were out. Now, what happened in 2007? If you go to Google today and say, what's the time in Singapore? What's it going to tell you? Is it going to give you a link for Singapore and time? Or is it going to give you the time? That's what they changed. They made search more application-like to make it appealing and make them relevant. It's surprisingly enough that after 10 years of being almost out of the game, they're still relevant. People still go to Google for search for stuff. However, the web is now a data source. In fact, people don't need to use web anymore. I mean, if you want to know about soccer results, do you use an application or do you use the web? Most people want dedicated results based on the information that they're looking for. If you like, I don't know, if you're watching the Olympics, maybe there's a dedicated app right now that gives you all the results. Do you have to go to Google to search for it? No. Now, Google has become the data source. Bing has become the data source. What you need to do is you need to go and find that information and display it to your users. So the web is almost dead. When was the last time that you developed and created a web server to run under your desk? Never. Right? It's been probably 5 years. Because the web now is a data source. Search. Now, search was usually human initiated. What's the time in Singapore? Did you know that in 2015, there were more machines searching the web rather than humans? I'm not talking about bots. I'm not talking about crawlers. I'm talking about machines looking for stuff on the web. That's insane, right? Can you imagine that? They're generating more results than humans. So why not Cortana initiate all the searches for me? Oh, you're at the cinema. You might want to go to the toilet before you go, because I know that it's been 2.5 hours. You don't have to jump into the movie before I call you to come out. I know I have your data already. I've searched for it. I've got your permission. Now, applications were nouns and now become verbs. Cortana, tell me, where's the best restaurant around here? Don't do that now. But the idea there is that we're changing quite a bit. And the intent is now part of the system. And the experience comes to us, or should come to us. Now, machines are great, right? It's all just data. And IoT is brilliant because IoT has been there for a while. In fact, we had micro devices that were sending data long before IoT even became a term in early 2000s. But IoT is not devices. I think IoT is data. And this is where we are today. Everything generates data, right? I mean, I don't believe in your toothbrush sending data. I'm talking about data, like your car sending data and your phone sending data that is relevant to you, because we have the context. Now, we're getting fridges. I mean, we're looking for a fridge. 2,000 freaking pounds? Like, that's not a fridge, that's a car. But, I mean, it's amazing, right? Because not only does it know what I'm putting into the fridge, but it can monitor use. It can scan with lasers what you put in. You don't even have to scan the barcode. I mean, we take all the wrappings off, so it scans with lasers what your food content is. It will tell you when your food is going to go bad, because it has the ability to do so. It will give you meal suggestions based on what you have in your fridge, and it provides self-maintenance. It will tell you when to take it offline to go and do self-maintenance and take the ice out. I mean, that's amazing. Now, end of life. I know you can probably see that one. I couldn't find a white toaster icon. I've searched for like an hour. I know, it's a toaster. Now, that's a little bit sad. I mean, our toasters can be connected to the internet, and people are like, what? Why would a toaster need to be connected on the internet? But imagine that. The toaster gets up one day and goes, oh my God, my data is wrong. What's wrong with me? And it connects to the internet of toasters and then sends the data out. And then the other toasters go, oh, dude, bad news. You're going to go bad. You're dying. And then my toaster will go and replace itself. It will place an order. It will know what I prefer to buy. It will know my preferred brand based on my history data. It will know, based on my income, what kind of devices I can buy. And people are like, what? You can't let your toaster buy another toaster? Like, do you not want to select the color and stuff? I mean, yeah, I mean, you could buy a stylish one because you dress stylishly, but I'm really bland, so mine will be a gray one. Who knows? The point there is that today, we're like, I'm not giving out control. I want to do the stuff. Our kids will be like, you were buying your own toasters? Are you insane? You were driving your own cars? Are you mental? That's not happening. That's because, you know, some of us, or some of you, will probably have kids that don't have driver's license because cars will be self-driven. Can you imagine that? So that poor toaster will have to replace itself, and it will do it gladly for us because it will know our data. Now, in the beginning, it might not be perfect, right? It might not get my branding, it might not get my preferences, right? But it will self-correct. It will ask for consent before doing stuff in the beginning. But eventually, they will be able to get it right. And finally, oh my God, I had a better icon over there. Self-market. Like, I love your shirt over there. Now, I could come over and strike a weird conversation about where you got it, or I could use my Internet of Things and say, okay, that shirt has that kind of tag and that RFC data. I will 3D scan it for you. When you get home, you'll have it. Micropayment to the supplier that sends the data to you. You don't have to do anything. Now, I could say, Cortana, go and order me that, or it will be a button over here, it will be something else, but it's the future. That's where we are headed, or it could be the future that you guys make. I'm just saying, right? I'm definitely not right, but we could be very close to that. Now, screens. We've been carrying these things for about 10 years. It's boring. My laptop seems the same since the early 2000s. Thinner, more performant, cool. I mean, this one is a supercomputer, right? But where we're going, we definitely don't need screens. Anybody tried HoloLens here? What do you think? Awesome, right? I mean, HoloLens is probably not the final product. I don't think we are there yet, but we are very close. And what happens when machines can do stuff for us? When my Cortana knows what I want, then do I really need the screen? Well, maybe in the beginning. Maybe in the beginning we'll need screens to be able to correct the choices that the machines will do for us. But eventually, we can give out control and not need screens. So, Apple's going to be dead. I mean, can you imagine if they don't reinvent themselves or something else? That's going to be redundant. You're not going to need to carry that anymore. You'll be interacting with the environment in the same way that we've been interacting with computers up until this point without needing physical keyboards or without needing physical devices. And that's going to be pretty freaking awesome. Now, payments, money. How do we make money in this new world, right? Well, there are definitely ways to make money. Up until now, in the last 21 years, we've been using the web for ads. Like you go into Google and say, Google, I want to travel, and you get 10 links, which are all ads, and then 2 links at the bottom that are the travel agencies that you can look for data. So that's how they make their money. It's been there for a while, and we've been paying that value proposition for a long time. It's time for things to change. And then we had apps. Apps are micropayments, basically. I mean, my daughter downloads apps all the time on her phone, and they're absolutely crap, by the way, because they come with only 1/4 or 1/10 of the game, and then you have to pay an extortionate amount of money or buy extra add-ons to play, and these are all micropayments that we established. Or if you want to get rid of the ads, obviously, you pay a one-off 99 cents, and it's poof, gone. But that's a one-time only. There's no subscription there, right? So some of them are pretty interesting, and that's where mobile apps are today. However, they're not where they're supposed to be. Devices. So we use devices to purchase stuff. We use devices to make subscriptions, and we use devices, again, in the same way that we do micro payments, which is fine. I mean, I use my phone, I use my PC all the time, but then again, Internet of Things, that's going to be interesting. Like, do you guys know that there's an Airbnb? Not B&B, not the bed and breakfast, the P&P. So you drive down the road, and you go like, oh my God, I need to go pee. Fire up the app, and it says, oh, you can use the toilet 200 yards down the lane. Turn to your left. Now you have to be super clean because they will score you on your performance. The problem, though, is that, I mean, we made that, right? I mean, devices can now advertise about things. Oh, you're using, like, somebody that was saying they want to actually make an IoT out of their hot tub so they can rent it out. And they were imagining they will have a drone from Amazon coming and putting the chemicals inside to keep it nice and clean. And then they would advertise that and say, oh, you can hire my hot tub for $100 an hour. We're getting there. But what about machines? What do machines do? Or what will they do for us? That's a big question, right? Now, I think the singularity is coming. Intelligent machines are coming. In fact, they're going to be smarter, faster, unbiased. They won't get tired. They won't have physical or sentimental problems. They'll be much more balanced. And they can do lots of stuff much better than we do. And there are only a few things that cannot do like us. Now, maybe in 5 years' time, nobody will get on a plane unless it's driven by a machine. I mean, I don't know if my pilot has taken their meds or, if he's well today. And I know they go through tests, but, you wake up one day and you're... So, we're almost flying by wire today. We're almost flying by with computers. So it wouldn't be too far off to say that a computer can fly the plane better than we do. And there's all these other things. I mean, they can design cities, they can design traffic systems, they can design everything. They can drive cars better than us. I mean, if everybody was driving a connected car that was managed by PCs, they have much faster reaction times, they're much more efficient, they know what's happening around their environment, they will have infrared cameras, they can see behind walls, and so on, that we cannot physically do. So there are definitely going to be changes. And there's going to be big changes that we need to be prepared about. Now, as developers, we're really good at annihilating industries. Take the pictures. Kodak went out of business. Hundreds of thousands of jobs. Also, millions of supporting jobs for photographers, wedding photographers, and people developing and producing pictures. I mean, I've got like 5,000 photos on my phone alone. That's a scary amount, by the way. But it goes to show that if I want to take a picture, I don't need to have a Kodak with me. I can just do that. And then, you got, what else? I mean, as an industry, we're really good at changing the world while we're taking away a lot of things. And it's scary. Now, I want to talk to you about our connected devices, right? Because in the 1990s, there was a disconnected world. There was nothing there. Like, there was maybe a little bit of an internet if someone was working at a university. So we're totally unplugged, which was pretty cool. You didn't have all these notifications being bing, 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 right? And then in 95, we got the internet. So some of us had a PC at home, which was a one single device. And that was okay, but then you started having emails, and people would notify you, and you'll get stuff, and you started getting into that habit of being conditioned for notifications. Then the 2005 came over, and mobile came across with probably about 3 devices per person, which is a lot when you think about it, especially the amount of notifications they generate. Now, fast forward a few years, and you got 2015 with IoT, and oh my God, mean average number of devices about 15 for people that want to have fully connected houses today. That's minimum. Not to mention that you have to take your phone out and go and put it right next to the light switch that you want to use. I mean, it's faster to use the light switch rather than try to switch it on with your phone. But, you can see the amount of notifications, like everyone. Like your fridge is telling you that it's going to go down, your dishwasher is breaking down. I can't keep up. And check this out. I mean, that's an awful plot. I had to do it myself, but it's going up, and it grows exponentially. That's the other problem there. Now, okay, so artificial intelligence. I think artificial intelligence is going to save us. Cortana is going to be there to help me out. I mean, it might not be Cortana, right? I'm saying Cortana because that's what I have familiar, and that's what I use myself, but AI has been quite slow up until now. But now that we have the data, now that we have the capability, you can see that it's actually learning exponentially what our habits are. It's learning exponentially what we do. I mean, I get up in the morning. I love to switch on my Twitter. Why not my Amazon Alexa not say to me, right, okay, these are the 20 things that you need to know on your timeline in your Twitter. Don't spend any time there. And I love my coffee as well, so coffee should be there waiting for me. I also like to play a little bit with my PlayStation in the morning, so the PlayStation should be on and waiting for my game that I want to watch. Or my computer could have all the tabs I look into the morning to look at my news all ready for me. It doesn't. I mean, this should be more excited than me. I'm up. Oh, Christos is up. My phone is lighting up. My house is lighting up. That's where I want to be, right? And I don't want the notifications, by the way. So what's going to happen? I think we're moving into the ubiquitous computing where everything will be connected with hundreds of thousands of devices. I think they're estimating by 2020 there will be 100 billion devices connected as part of the IoT. 100 billion devices. That's like 20 devices per person and more. Right, what are we going to do? We're going to use AI. We're going to use artificial intelligence to give us the best technology experience. And as we experience that peak, then technology will go away. It will become ubiquitous. It will be everywhere. It will be your HoloLens projecting stuff to the wall while you don't need a screen anymore, while you want to watch a documentary. It will be your Alexa or your Cortana telling you about stuff that you need to know about based on your habits and based on your context. and things will become freaking awesome. Now, what's going to be the stuff? What's going to be the thing that's going to light up in the 2020s? I think we're almost there. I think we already have it. I think I talked about it for some time now. I think it's going to be machine learning, AI, and big data. If you're not looking into these things today, then trust me, you're going to have a really big struggle in the next 5 or 6 years, because things are happening so fast. Like Tesla is actually developing their own AI chips. They're creating their own CPUs to be able to process the AI to drive better cars. They're a car manufacturer, for God's sake. Right? So, who's going to be? Who's going to be the next big thing? Is it going to be Google? Now, can you imagine that? Okay, Google, I need to go to the toilet. I know. Okay, Google, when should I go to the toilet? How about I give you this 15-second video of an advertisement for Pepsi, and then I'll send you your way. Can you imagine a future where your every single day is dictated by ads? That's what Google is. They're an advertising company. That's where they get their revenue from. Don't fool yourselves. Can you imagine a future where your bookstore is going to dictate? AWS is pretty awesome, right? But you know, they have developed stuff. However, they don't have the data. They're a cloud provider, but they have no operating system. Microsoft is living with you every single day. How many of you use Microsoft operating systems on your machines today? Right, there you go. So Microsoft knows about you more than you know about you. Now, Apple could do that. Apple has loads of data for you. You carry your phone with you. I said that, I admit it. I carry my phone with me all the time. I use so many apps, and it knows my habits better than my wife does. Don't tell her that. But the idea there is that Apple could do it. However, where does Apple run on? They run on the cloud. Whose cloud? Right? It could be AWS. Could be Azure. Could be Google Cloud. But they don't own the platform. They don't have the capability. For you to be able to process that amount of data, you need to own the data in a way that is not privacy bad, in a way that you can take them offline and process them without having to pay the fee. So these are all the services that we give you. These are all the services available for you today on Azure, plus all these other cool things that we created for you. Quantum computing, we're almost there. IBM has a 50-qubit quantum machine. That's an insane amount of number. Don't expect it to come under your desk anytime soon. However, we are at an insane time in history where quantum computing is almost as tangible as everything else that you see out there. And with that coming, our whole history is going to change. It is going to change. It's going to change in such a way that computers will achieve singularity, and they will be able to do everything that you guys do today, which is scary, right? Somebody else will be writing the code. IoT will be all our code and the data. What are we going to do? I think that's our destiny. We're meant to be explorers and healers and terraformers and go to new planets and do amazing things. We can be inventors and philosophers. We can use technology to our benefit to fix the world. 2 years into the human brain project, anybody knows about that? We're already at level 8. We hit the milestone of year 8. 2 years in the project. We're moving so fast that right now we know what depression looks like, what autism looks like in your brain. Now, can you imagine the power of computers when they combine all the machine learning and all the medical data around the world to go, you know what? We know how to solve this. And we can solve this. And we can solve this. So, you know, humanity is going to be propelled into new states using the technology available to us. So, my question to you, or this is what I want to leave you with, is perhaps we weren't meant to be in heaven, but instead create heaven for ourselves, using our technology, using the tools that you guys have today to make a better future. My name is Christos Matskas. I work for Microsoft, And thank you very much for listening to me today.